The day's other news begins in Italy, where the group of 7 foreign ministers renewed their, quote, unwavering support for Ukraine. Their joint statement comes at the end of 2 days of talks and less than 2 months before President-elect Trump is set to take office. He has promised to reevaluate America's support for Ukraine. For his part, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken pledged to rush U.S. aid to Kyiv as the Biden administration nears its final stretch.
The U.S. is continuing to surge security assistance to bolster Ukraine's defenses in the east and to respond to the escalation by Russia. We're determined that Ukraine has the money, the munitions, and mobilized forces to fight effectively in 2025 or to negotiate, but from a position of strength.
Meantime, both Russia and Ukraine have escalated their aerial attacks. Ukraine says that Russia launched 188 drones on targets across the country in a nighttime barrage. That's a record for the most in a single attack, though most were intercepted and no injuries have been reported. And Moscow says it has photographic evidence, seen here, of Ukraine firing U.S.-made long-range missiles, known as ATACMS, to strike deep inside its own territory. Russia says it is preparing to retaliate. In Pakistan, at least 6 people have died during violent clashes between security forces and protesters who are seeking the release of former Prime Minister Imran Khan from prison. Security forces fired warning shots and tear gas at demonstrators today as they reached the edges of Islamabad's Red Zone. That area houses the parliament and diplomatic missions. This latest unrest began on Sunday and then escalated after a rally led by Khan's wife, Bushra Bibi. Officials say she's inciting the violence.
There's tear gas being fired. From there, tear gas is being thrown at the police. There will be a severe reaction. The state is showing great patience. Bushra Bibi has planned it so that we kill people. She wants bloodshed here.
Imran Khan addressed his supporters from jail, writing in a post on X, quote, all protesting Pakistanis stay peaceful, united, and stand firm. The popular politician has been in jail since last year and faces more than 150 criminal cases, which his supporters say are politically motivated. Authorities say only the courts can order his release. A new Biden administration proposal would cover the cost of popular weight loss drugs through Medicare or Medicaid. That means millions of obese Americans would have access to treatments like Ozempic or Zepbound. The proposals could cost taxpayers as much as $35 billion over the next decade, but advocates say it would save money by treating the costly health conditions that are tied to obesity. The new rule wouldn't be finalized until after President-elect Trump takes office in January. And his pick to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is an outspoken opponent of such drugs. Walmart is slashing many of its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, known as DEI. The company will no longer participate in an index that tracks workplace inclusion for LGBTQ+ employees. It will also terminate an equity racial center that was set up after the killing of George Floyd. And Walmart will no longer consider race and gender when granting contracts to suppliers. The world's largest retailer joins a growing list of corporations that have rolled back their DEI initiatives amid pressure from conservative activists. On Wall Street today, investors brushed off worries about the impact of Donald Trump's proposed tariffs. Instead, the Dow Jones Industrial Average added more than 100 points to notch a new record. The Nasdaq tacked on more than 100 points of its own. The S&P 500 also ended higher on the day. And the oldest man in the world has died. John Alfred Tinniswood held the Guinness World Record for the past 9 months, during which he celebrated his 112th birthday. The retired accountant was born in Liverpool in 1912, soon after the sinking of the Titanic. He survived 2 world wars and attributed his longevity to, quote, pure luck. Guinness has not yet said who will replace Tinniswood as the new record holder. Still to come on the NewsHour, law enforcement officials investigate the origins of racist and bigoted messages. President Biden's push to fill federal judicial vacancies before the Trump administration takes over. And a new exhibit of French Impressionism examines how political upheaval inspired that movement.
This is the PBS NewsHour from the David M. Rubenstein Studio at WETA in Washington, and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.